Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Adventure DX-ish. As of the last part, we finished Gamma's campaign, which means now all 6 core campaigns are done. We've ran as Sonic, we've chased his Tails, we've searched his Knuckles, we've ran again as Amy, we fished as Big, and we saved as Gamma. And that unlocks the final campaign in the game, the last episode in the series that would become a staple from this point until at least Sonic 06. Let's see how this whole adventure wraps up.
Ooh, I hate that Sonic! He always seems to get in my way! But I bet he can't foil my master plan. Chaos!
The Master Emerald is where it belongs. But Angel Island is still falling. This doesn't make any sense. Maybe those Chaos Emeralds that I brought back with me have something to do with what's happening. I'll take them to Sonic for his advice. Eggman!
This is terrible! Chaos is...
Is what?
Guess Eggman learned his lesson. Yep. And maybe I'll take another vacation somewhere.
Sonic!
Hey there, Tails! Did you find the tornado too?
Never mind that. Get up and follow me. Angel Island is falling again.
Hey, no way! Who blew it this time?
Oh, I don't know, but we better hurry!
And we only have several minutes of cutscenes still to go in this campaign. Not counting credits, this is the shortest campaign in the game overall, even shorter than Big's overall. But it's also more composed of cutscene than any other campaign in the game, because get this, it's the climax. Of course it is. So as Tails said, our goal at this point is Angel Island in total, yes, over near Red Mountain and Ice Cap, but in specific our actual goal is the altar where the Master Emerald is kept from that cutscene. We've of course been there in several campaigns already. You can do some minor free roam at this point. I think you can even head back to the town. I want to say I even do that. But if you're just trying to focus entirely on plot, just head straight to where we saw that cutscene with Knuckles a moment ago, and then things will continue from there. But I figured we might as well do one last lap of the town, see if anyone has anything really important to say. Just because I've done this throughout the LP to this point, even if I haven't read it myself during commentary, just might as well keep up the trend of it, really. If there is something I find kind of interesting in retrospect, Station Square itself is pretty sparse with its NPC placement, even if you really get to understand these people's own little narratives as they go through, like the girl with the crush on the statue at the burger joint, the guy who's cheating on 2 girls at once, 2-timing, the girl with the dad and all that jazz. In terms of pure interactable NPC counts, this isn't too different than a lot of modern games or RPGs in the towns or otherwise, because while yes, there's maybe a few more incidental NPCs in towns, especially in open world stuff nowadays, like Horizon comes to mind in FF7, Remake and Rebirth. In terms of pure interactables, there's often even less than this. Mind you, they usually put a lot more effort into the visual stylings and how they have to be fully voice acted, and they probably didn't want to do that for this level of people, but it does make me curious how, if this game ever gets a remake, they're going to handle this area in specific. Because while they're probably going to keep all the main NPCs people know, they're probably going to add a lot more just to flesh things up with in terms of incidentals, but also probably some new NPCs, period, that either interact with you more in the story, or honestly probably just have some form of side quest, sort of like the mission mode does in the main game as it is already. I wouldn't be surprised outright if they even add little side quests to this area, sort of like what they kind of do in Unleashed HD, but I'll save that topic for then. As much as I prefer how SA2's narrative is put together, I do feel like not having a mini hub area like this did make the game lack a certain charm in comparison to 1, but at the same time, I would rather have no hub worlds like this than hub worlds like this that are done poorly, like Sonic 06's very large, empty hub worlds with really annoying side quests. Ambition is an interesting thing in that if you have a lot of it, it can be very apparent, but execution matters so much on Ambition that if you have big plans like Sonic 06 and fail them, it feels awful. But if you have small plans and make it work, like in this game with the town NPCs, it feels pretty good, even if it's ultimately not the main focus and is very easy to ignore. For right now, though, that's everyone in Station Square I wanted to talk to. Let's head over here to the core of Angel Island and continue on with the plot. In specific, since I have missed it a couple times here and again myself, once you cross the bridge, you want to hug the outside perimeter of the island to find the cutscene. I've spent a moment or two trying to find it in other playthroughs in the past.
Sonic, sorry.
Knuckles! And Eggman! What happened here?
He stole my Chaos Emeralds. And Chaos is still alive.
What?
Ah! He's not gonna get away with this!
Hey, Eggman, wait up! Sonic, Chaos is a fearsome beast. If he gets that last Chaos Emerald, we're done for.
No need to explain. We'll get on it. Tails?
Right!
What? Oh, jeez! This place. It looks familiar. It's not a dream after all.
I mean, Sonic, given how often it's happened to seemingly everyone, I don't really feel like it would be anyway.
Get out of my way!
No way!
Did you hear what I said?
I won't obey!
We need those 7 emeralds to give us total power! It's power for the people! And they are your people too, you know! We must get that emerald!
Greed is our enemy. Once it starts, you will always want more. Please don't do this! I beg you!
Bah! I don't listen to the words of a child! Ready, men? Charge!
Father!
Hey, are you all right?
I think so. Oh my gosh! No, no, no!
Wait up!
The 7 emeralds are the servers. Chaos is power, enriched by the heart. The controller serves to unify the chaos. The 7 emeralds can change our thoughts into power. If this emerald controls that power, please, you must stop him. Wake up!
I was on a snooze cruise, I guess.
Good thing you're okay. You just sorta conked out there. Knuckles left already. Come! We gotta go after the last emerald.
Lead the way.
It should still be on board the Tornado 2.
And from what we saw at the beginning of this campaign, the Tornado 2 is over near Big's house in the jungle. Now, my favorite thing about that cutscene is that it implies whenever a character actively gets sucked into those sequences, they're just standing there and or wandering, seemingly just spaced out.
Look! It's the Tornado 2!
Yeah, so let's get the Chaos Emerald and leave. What? No! He's got the last emerald!
Now what do we do?
If I wasn't just dreaming, that monster is a real menace. Eggman! Looks like he's after Chaos too.
This Egg Carrier 2 was made because something like this could happen. You have defied your master, stupid beast. Now you must be destroyed at all costs.
I've had enough. Who do you think you are, anyway? Oh, it's you! The one who sealed chaos in the Master Emerald. Tikal.
My heart has always been in the Master Emerald along with Chaos's. Now he's filled with anger and sadness. And if it goes on, he'll eventually destroy the world like he did before. Look! He's absorbed the Emerald's power! He must be sealed in the Master Emerald now!
How can that help? It won't change how he feels inside, will it?
his heart will still remain in turmoil, and his anger just won't vanish. He'll just be trapped forever.
What choice do we have?
There's actually a horrific texture thing that can happen here in the Dreamcast release where Big just looks horrifying.
Hey, Sonic!
Amy!
Here, take this!
Hey guys, what's up?
Chaos only used the negative power of the emeralds. Sonic, you should be able to harness their real power.
As much as I hate to admit it, I think Tails is right about this.
Go, Sonic! Yeah, Sonic!
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 Negative forces aren't the only way to empower the Chaos Emeralds. Our positive feelings toward each other can make them work. Our hearts together form awesome power.
Final boss of the game is Perfect Chaos, and this can be a bit of a tricky fight on a first run. For one thing, we are supersonic, which comes with the usual rules. Your ring count is constantly counting down, and if it reaches 0, you die. And I don't think there's a checkpoint at all in this fight. The thing with this fight is that it's more of a game of avoidance than actually trying to actively attack. Your goal in this fight is to ram into Perfect Chaos, but if you're not going fast enough, you won't actually be able to travel all the way up the core of the body and hit the brain. You know you're going fast enough when you actively have this blue aura around Sonic. There are speed boosters along the way to potentially give you an extra boost, but the best way to actually build up speed in my eyes and keep the speed going is to do small hops here and again as your acceleration is slightly higher in the air as supersonic. Worth noting, there was actually going to be a playable supersonic state in the main game that was probably going to be unlocked after this boss fight in the game's code, but it's not actively implemented, unfortunately. Though there are mods that restore it. You might think we're done, we're not. Perfect Chaos takes 6 shots to take out, but they really play the wrong music in the wrong spot. We start with the game's main theme, Open Your Heart, which is a super powerful track to fight with, but then we get this good and foreboding orchestral track called Perfect Chaos Revival, but it's just not as good as Open Your Heart. He's a little more aggressive on attacking here in Phase 2. Attack-wise, Perfect Chaos can shoot projectiles all around that can even home in on you as you get closer, which are more to just actively knock you back and make you lose speed, meaning you lose time on your ring count. He can use the giant laser beam he used on the Egg Carrier 2 from the previous cutscene. There's what happens if you go in at too low of a speed, by the way. And he can also generate tornadoes closer to him to try and mess with your pathing. It's an interesting idea for a boss fight, but one that ultimately is kind of underwhelming in the modern day. It's not the worst supersonic boss fight, but it's definitely more around the middle, where it's not exactly horrible, but it's not very interesting either. There's another attack that went unused where there would be arms of his that would try to interrupt you as you go, which they ended up using in a future game in a very similar boss fight, wink. And now I want to talk about something I've actually forgotten to talk about up to this point, and I even think foreshadowed talking about it back during like the Knuckles campaign. Chaos himself is made of water for a specific reason. They wanted to showcase the technical capabilities of the Dreamcast in a way that would surpass any of the prior Sega consoles, so they decided to make a villain entirely made up of water, and the reason Chaos is an independent villain is so they could have something new that could upstage Eggman. It's an admirable idea. The unfortunate thing is they chose water, which is a very technically impressive thing in every era, but as time passes and water rendering gets better, it does start to look worse and worse, and technically, Ocarina of Time has much more interesting looking water, especially in a certain water-based boss fight. This fight can be weird. I've seen some people get stuck on it for a while, but ultimately, it's just a war of attrition. But either way, that's game. Take it away, Sonic.
Hey, I'll play with you some other time.
Chaos has changed again, this time for the better.
Yeah! Supersonic must have neutralized it, so it's nice again.
These are the Chow you were protecting. They stayed alive for generations and now live peacefully with humans. The fighting's over, harmony's restored, and life goes on. Thank you so much.
All's well that ends well, right?
Tails, the city is destroyed.
Sonic?
That's Sonic Adventure in more or less its entirety, everyone. Technically got about 80 emblems on top of 60 missions to do, but that'll be for a follow-up LP at some point. Before I get into my main thoughts on the game itself, let's talk about this game's main vocal theme. The first of many Crush 40 tracks done for the series, this is Open Your Heart. One of like 15 different versions of the song, I think. Composed by Jun Senoi and Kenichi Tokoi. Performed by Crush 40, which, as I brought up in an earlier part, is effectively just Jun Senoi and Johnny Gioeli, alongside several other performers. Written by Jun Senoi and Takahiro Fukada for lyric translation, and arranged by Jun Senoi himself. This is one of my favorite vocal themes in the series to this day. There's not really many Crush 40 songs that don't really hit the mark, but this, to this day, is probably still my top 3. It's like that, Never Turn Back from Shadow really is that good, and I guess Night of the Wind. Though, I'll talk more about my overall other favorites as we go through, because like Live and Learn's obviously iconic, alongside so many others. Sonic Adventure on the whole has definitely shown its signs of age, no doubt. But I feel like people are a little unfair towards it in terms of how old it actually is. For a lot of people, they think of this game as a GameCube game. It's not, as I brought up, I think, earlier in the LP. This game came out in 1998, the same year as Ocarina of Time. For the time, for a very interwoven narrative with a lot of ambition for its characters and campaigns, it's pretty good. But time is not necessarily kind to it in that regard as well. It hasn't aged visually the best. The control can be here or there depending on which character you're playing as. And the campaigns themselves are very 50-50 on whether or not you like how they play to begin with. There's a lot of expansion I think they could do in a remake in terms of making each campaign feel more unique between characters having the same aesthetics for levels maybe, but completely unique level design, and maybe just expanding what characters can do to begin with, like making Amy more involved, having more stuff to do with Big. Gamma especially could probably use a little more to do. But for the time, this is pretty good. The thing that people argue about endlessly to this day, though, is whether or not this or Adventure 2 are better games, and they both have their pros and cons. Obviously, not to get too ahead of myself here, because I have an entire LP of SA2 to do at some point, but I think Sonic Adventure 1 has a lot more heart than SA2, and a lot more ambition. But that also means it's a lot more inconsistent. SA2 is a lot more constrained in what it wants to be, and thus it's more focused and consistent as a package. And that can certainly be a lot more attractive to a lot of people. I tend to lie in the middle on the two overall because of that, though. Because what I enjoy in SA2, I enjoy a lot, but what I enjoy in SA1, like Sonic's levels, Tails levels, and Gamma, I really do enjoy a lot. With that said, soundtrack-wise, I so much prefer SA1 soundtrack to SA2. The more varied track types just melt my ears in ways than even a lot of the other top-tier Sonic soundtracks, which is most of the series, admittedly, just seldom do. With that said, if you like 3D platformers in general, I'd say this game is worth a shot to see if it clicks with you, jank and iffiness from age or not. And if you're a Sonic fan who has yet to play this for one reason or another, I'd say it's worth a single full run overall, as it's just such an important game for the overall history of the series. As in terms of stage design, character personalities, mechanics for individual characters to begin with or otherwise, or especially the audio-visual stylizations, it just laid so much groundwork for so many games to come. Even to this day, you can still feel the impact of what this game started. There's a reason the homing attack never really left Sonic's repertoire moving forward, to the point where it even became one of his moves in fighting games. With that said, the next time we see a 3D Sonic game, it's probably going to be SA2, but the next time we see Sonic in general, there's a couple of spin-offs I still haven't done, Advanced 3 still has to be done, and Battle is there, of course, and the Sonic 4 as a duology is staring at me in the face, alongside Mania. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, have a great night, take care, and I'll see you guys next Let's Play, whatever that may be. See you guys then.